but it's all the complex interaction of life bubbling and doing different things. The story of I in there is really a story that's created in the biology for some amazing reason, and that is part of the survival instinct, and it's part of the evolution of human beings becoming self-aware, becoming aware of what it is, what they are, what they're part of, what they are an expression of. And that starts to transcend, it's just the limited, contracted self-entity. It's like, no, when it's really looked into, it's like, oh, there's a lot more going on here. And what's the a lot more that's going on here is everything. And this is part of the energy of what is being expressed and interpreted through this human body. So there's sort of pictures that come, and it's like if you can imagine the capillaries of a brain or a body, or mycelium, nature that has these capillaries, or pictures from the from outer space showing the patterns of nature. It's usually these capillaries of different threads of spontaneous exploration, expansion, movement. The networks that's made in nature, that's made in human brains, that's made in capillaries of the body, and it feels like it's made in thoughts and concepts, and explorations into all of these different things that occur, all of these different ideas that seem to spontaneously blossom in thought, and then they sort of branch out into different avenues of exploration, and all of those avenues of thought that can be ultra spiritual. I've got to do this, and I'm going to get to a spiritual plane up here, and I'm going to find my higher self. And over here, there can be, no, there's just, there's just one God. And whatever way that these minds, this human intelligence, expands and finds expression, finds sort of seemingly logical expansion in its thinking process, each one of them is as valid as the next, because it's all the same thing, doing all of those different things. So what we're talking about here is exploring through a certain way. There's nothing more correct or incorrect about anything that's being said. It's just that it seems to feel like innate truth, and in that, all of the other stuff that happens in life is still appreciated as beauty, as beautiful expression, as beautiful expansion, exploration, variation, spontaneous change. But it's nothing is better or worse, because it's the same thing doing all these different things. So these thought patterns that are happening here are the same as all the other thought patterns that are happening. It's just a different way of expressing. It's the same thing. And for some reason, life is doing this in this human being, and this discussion that's happening now. Life is doing this. And it feels very uncomplicated, apart from the mind that wants to work it out, which it can't. It feels very uncomplicated, and it feels like opening to itself to look at the whole without any exclusion, completely encompassing all beliefs and religions and thoughts and ideas, because they are all the same thing. And with that, there is no resistance to any of that. So it allows it all to integrate. And when there's no resistance to it, there's just this wholeness, this complete wholeness, with all of its complexity, that's okay to do anything. Now, if this human being focuses its attention on certain things and it goes down this path, that seems to be what's happening. But any other human being can find different paths, different ways, and they're all okay. Nothing's wrong with a path that says this non-duality stuff, I don't get it. I'm not interested, and I don't think I'll continue with that. I think I'll stay with my belief. I'm a Buddhist. I'll stay as a Buddhist, thanks. I'll stay as a Christian, or I'll stay as a transcending light being, or whatever. And they're probably all, whatever can be imagined is possible. Whatever way that a life of a human being navigates it with its belief structures and its conditioning, life is just going, that's what I've got to work with. That's where I'm at. This is the this is the horse that I'm traveling on, you know, and if it changes horses along the way because it finds a path that seems more congruent to its nature, it'll do that too. But for a while, it'll say, I believe in all this stuff. It feels right. That's what I know is this intelligence. So I will just invest in that. And the innate intelligence of life doesn't really care whether it's the right story, the wrong story, a full story, a complete story, an open story, a contracted. It doesn't care. Life is just, it's ultra infinitely intelligent and open, and it's impersonal. The idea of getting it right or wrong is just a human mind concept tied into the instinct for survival, biology. So life will just do whatever it's doing in whatever capacity, in whatever human being, in whatever way it feels is correct as that human being. But there's no real wrong or right way to do things. Life will just adapt. It's a chameleon, you know. It just it's doing one thing, and I'm this way. It's doing another thing because it's adapted that way. Ultimately, it feels like finding itself is this open intelligence opening to itself. And that's just being open to itself. It's not knowing really what it is. It's unknowingly open.